Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody having a good day. Welcome back to my channel. Just make a quick video here for you guys today. I have a slight cold, so don't mind my voice. If I start coughing, I'll put myself on mute, so that way you guys don't hear my cough. But just been looking at some numbers here today. Just looking at the different things that come through. I always try to use this system that I have here. If you haven't gotten it yet, this is for sale. You can check it out on the Etsy page that I have. If you check on the link below, you should be able to get a copy of this download that I have, which comes with 5 sheets. This is the story system sheet, which provides you all the different rundowns, actually the different combinations of the number if you're playing a certain number. So let's say if I put 1, 2, 3, it automatically updates here for you, which breaks it down for you into individual numbers, individual digits, the first digit, second digit, the third digit. It also does the sum for you, how many it adds it up together. That also becomes a root sum, and then it also breaks it down into pairs for you. Then it gives you all the different combinations that the number comes through. So 1, 2, 3 has different ways of having different combinations. And then this is the mirror side of it. 1, 2, 3. So if you look at the mirror system, here's the mirror, right? So 1 goes to 6, 2 goes to 7, 3 goes to 8, 4 goes to 9, and the 5 goes to 0. So that's what it is. So if you look at the mirror, 1 is 6, 2 is 7, 3 is 8. And then same thing, gives you the pairs, the breakdown of the mirrors, and it also gives you the different combinations on that. And then the flip is the same way as well. The flip number of 1, 2, 3 is 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3 is 4, 5, 6. You see that? All right. So let's see. All right. So, but today I want to share with you just some different ways of using the system itself. So I'm going to teach you another way that some of these rundowns really work very well. And in the sheet, it's not just a one simple sheet, a 317 sheet. This has a lot of rundowns in it. See all these numbers. It has a 111 rundown, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 5, 1, all the way down to 999 rundowns. So how it works is, let's say if I put, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So if I put down this, I can go to 111 and I hit the run button here, automatically changes for you to that combination, to whatever rundown that you're using. If I put 1, 2, 3, it gives you a 1, 2, 3 rundown. If you put down 2, 2, 3, it gives you a 2, 2, 3 rundown. 2, 5, 1, same way. And if you like any type of rundown that is your favorite that you like to use, is probably already in here. 317 is a popular one. That's one of my favorites that I use. 317 is my favorite, and then 888 is also my favorite because 888 also is very powerful. So any of these rundowns may work, whatever that you like to use. All right, so that's why I put it all together into one. And with this rundown system itself, it provides a lot of different type of let's see what's going on here. It also comes with this side here on the right side, which is the date, right? So all your combinations are here. This is your history. This is Arizona where I'm at, so it's just a one draw a day type of data that I have here. So where this information comes from is every time I add a new number in here, it's from the data sheet down here. So if you look at the data down here, it provides all that data that you put in to absorb all the data here for you. So that way you don't keep going back and forth trying to find out what number that played last, or what number that has if you're doing some research and stuff like that. Sometimes you're always trying to find out what number came here and how that number came up to the next day. So that's the way a lot of times you do your research, and that's how I like to do my research as well, is just to come find out where that information came from. So I would like to have it next to where I'm searching at. All right, and here's a temp sheet. This is like the 90-day draws, and each of these is individual digits. So this is digit one, digit two. So if it was one, two, three, the one is here, which is only this number. How many times these numbers came up within the last whatever draws that you're looking back on the research. We have 10-day draws all the way to 90-day draws, right? So if it's, let's say you want to just pull the last 30 days, you can hit that run and updates the frequency count for you. So it tells you like how many times the zero has come up in the last 30 days, how many times that one come up in the first digit and the second, in the, let's say one came up twice, three came up four times, four came up five times, six looks like it's a hot number, and it's down here as well. See, hot, cold, and up overdue is all down here, right? So this is the first digit one here is all this here, right? Just the first column and or the first row right here, the first two rows. And then the digit two is here, which is all this here. And then digit three here is all this here. So if you want to track numbers individually, that's how many times, like let's say the hot numbers are 8, 6, and 0 in the third one, right? So if you look at 8 has came out four times, 6 came out four times, 0 came out five times. That's why it's a hot number. And then the cold number is probably all these twos right here, right? One, two, three, all the twos. And then the overdue is 4, 6, and 2, right? So the last time 4 hit, even though it says it came up three times, it hasn't shown again since 22 days ago. Same thing here. If you look at the second column or the second digit number 2, and digit 2, 5, number 5 is overdue because it's one of the cold numbers. It also hasn't come up yet in the last 30 days. Right? So if it's in the last 30 days, but if you look at the history of my numbers here, we're looking at the history of January to February, right? But that's not 30 days, that's 2 months. So that's roughly close to 60 days, right? So the best way I probably would play this would probably put it into pull the last 60 days draw and then click on it. And now you have a fresh data of the last 60 days and it tells you which number is hot, which number is cold. Like all these numbers have drawn in the last 2 months, right? So for an example, this number 9 in the first area of the number 9 has only come up one time throughout the whole 60 days, right? So if you look at the picture here, this is January, right? So we're looking at the number 1 in the first section of digit 1. January 1st is the only time it looks like 1 came up. So if you look at this and we scroll down, well, 1 came up here again. So I'm not sure why it's pulling this as not the number hasn't shown. So let's see if I'm doing it correctly. So let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. This is number 9. I'm looking at 1. Okay, number 9 hasn't shown in the first section, the first digit. It only came up one time. See, the 10th of January is the only time there's a 9 showing. But then if you scroll through the whole list here, we're only in February right now. There's no 9 that hasn't come up yet in the first area. You see it? There's no 9. So if it was me playing and I play the numbers, I'll probably focus on this 9 because 9 hasn't come up in the last 49 days. And if the way you got to check on that for 49 days is you can back count on here. So let's say I start here and I go back, and the last time 9 came up is here. You see, it says 49. And where's that number? Let's see. Number. Show me a number here that shows here how long ago. So if I scroll down, back down to here, see that little box in the right corner right here? See, it says 49R. That's pretty much 49 days ago, right? So that's the last time when it came up. So, but that's the way you gotta understand it is that's the last time that 9 played in the first digit column, the first area here, right? And then 5 is in the second digit. Even though 5 came up 3 times, the last time that came up is back in uh, back in 39 days ago. So if you go back into the tracking sheet here, the tracking sheet here, let's see if we go to 5, it says 39 days ago. So let's boost count this. So 39 right here. See 5 right here. 156. That's the last time that 5 has shown up in that second area. And ever since then, 5 hasn't played again in that second area. Okay. And then the third one, 4 is the call, the overdue as well. 4 has came up 5 times this past couple months, but this one is overdue for 22 days. This one is then that's on the third digit here, right? So that's the third digit. So hopefully that helps you guys out if you ever play numbers. So if you're playing numbers, same thing here. 32, right? 32 days ago, number 2 in the first section. Maybe if you want to play some numbers, maybe try 954 or 226 or 562. Might be good numbers. Or just mix numbers on here. 924 or it might be 964, so that way you understand like you can always play off of those and see if one of these hit. Some people like to play it that way based on overdues and what's cold, what's hot. It might make some mingle on those. Okay, so but that's why this overdue is here, these ODs, right? So hopefully that helps you out as well. And inside the tracking sheet here, these are all the numbers that have come up, right? That all the numbers that have come up and drawn. I don't think I have an update yet. So if I hit draw, all the numbers have been updated. So all these highlighted green numbers is a number that has played already, right? So all these numbers have played already, okay? And then on the right side here is the front pairs, the back pairs, the outside doubles. So these are all doubles. 110, 113. 600 is the back pair doubles. 811 is the back pair double. Then it's the outside doubles. 070. See all these numbers, right? So that's literally how it tracks it for you. So that way, even like 994 has came up and it's down here as well. It's already highlighted for you. And in Arizona, there's a triple that hit recently, which is the 111. Right? We'll look at that and see how that number came up and see because a lot of times the triples, because if you think about it, if you think about numbers in 365 days a year, right? Only 365 numbers come out. But that's for my state in Arizona. So if you're in a different state, that might be different. You might have one, two, three draws, whatever, how many draws that happen every day, so that just keep track of that. And that's why I have a tracker with this. It's a track what number has played already, what number has come up already. So next time if I want to play, and let's say I want to play, and if you're trending that the 110 is going to hit again, so instead of playing 110, maybe play 011 or 101. So that's bound to hit again if that double one with the zero comes up. So that way they can do a exact hit. You know what I mean? So, but that's literally like the way this tracker works. And the data is where you put it in. So if you put the numbers in here on the top, so if I put 1, 2, 3, and I hit add, and it says it's already updated, refresh, all you do is you go scroll down and it adds it to the next blank spot here. And when whatever number that you add in there, then you can hit refresh here on the run now, and the rundown system adds it here for you, right? So, but that's the way it works. So that's how you update. So I'll go ahead and delete this because this is not the right number. Let's take that off. And then from here, I'll just hit run again. It took it back off, right? And then on this right side here is each number all the way down from 0 to 999, all the way down, right? These are all the rundowns that the best numbers that plays with, right? If 895 came up, what's the best rundown to play it on? 999 rundown, 123 rundown, right? So they all have the different combinations of rundowns that you can use. But that's the but that's the way you can always narrow the rundowns itself if you want to play at a high efficiency. But we'll try it out here in a minute to see if any of these numbers will match it up to see if one of my any of these rundowns that I have here can match this. So let's try this. So let's go to the sheet here and I want to test this out real quick. So let's go ahead and let's go off of the 730 rundown using the 735 number that came up. So 735 280 5 sorry 280. So 735 is the mirror is 280. And how do I find that out? So 7 is here, so it becomes a 2. A 3, it becomes an 8. And then the 5 becomes a 0. All right, so now we're going to be looking at that number 735. But on the right side here, on the right side, it shows what is going on with my screen. Keeps keeps messing up here. There it is. So 735, the rundown is 730. So what I'll do here is I'll go down to 730 rundown, and then I'll hit run. Now the number automatically switch to 730 rundown, right? So all that said, this is now 730. Now the way I play this is I play it off of the date. So it's going to be 02, so the 20th. So the 19th is when the number came up. The 20th is what the number that we're going to be looking for. So what I'll do is I'll narrow this down. So wherever the 20 is, I'll adjust it to here. So since this is a 5, I'll probably mess with it to see if I can try to mess it and put the 0 here. So let's find the 20th. Let's see. So the 20 should be in this side, this section here. So probably I can probably use this 005. I'm gonna line it up here. So the way I'll do this is I'll put the 645 in this box. 190, 190. Now 005 is here, and the 735 is right below it. So the 20th. So the number that came up the next day is 880. So what I'll do is I'll see if there's a 2 and a 0 attached to this 880 right here. Right here's a 280, right? 280, 735, and the 20th, the date, 20. So the 2 came here, and that number is attached to here, 8. So there's an 8, there's a 0, but this is 88, right? So the 88. So this one didn't really work out well because it's not showing any type of other 8s except these two. Those are only two 8s I'm seeing here. There's an 8 down here as well, but there's no other 8s around it. Unless there's a 3 attached to it, I don't see that either. So this one is not a really good example, but you can mess with it. You know, you can always try to mess with the whole thing. So let's go back to 735 and let's try a different rundown. My favorite one is a 317, right? So if we took 317, this is going to be 280. So let's find out. Let's bring the 20th here. So I'll find the 0 here, right? The 20th is 280 again here, right? So I'll put the 280 in this row where the 9 is at. So let's put this is a number 666111 111. And guess what? This 111 is down here. It came up like 3 days earlier, maybe 4 days earlier. Came up on the 16th, and we're looking for the 20th of 880. So the 20th is here. So the 20th. So there's an 8 and a 0, but there's no other 8 that's attached to this. There's no 3. I mean, there's a 3 right here. If this was an 8, you could have made that a 3, 8, the 880. Or, let's see, I don't see any other 8s attached to each other. There's an 8 down here, but that's too far away. Yeah, I don't see anything else here. And let's see. So, but that's really like the 111 came up here. So this 111 is attached. So is there a 748 attached to the 1? There's an 8 4, nothing, huh? There's no 748 on the next number. Because that's what the 748 came up as. There's a 7 4 and then there's an 8 on the other side. So, but but you just gotta mess with it. You just move the charts around. What your best analogy is. Like the way I like to play this too. Let's try something real quick. I wanna mess with this chart real quick and let's cut this out. I'm gonna put it in a new sheet here so I can save it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this rundowns of the 317 rundown in this box. Okay, so 317862. I did this before, and I don't know if you guys remember, but this is 317-624-931-248-555-862-179-486-793-000 and 317. So let's make this a text and make this as zeros. So that way it keeps. Okay, let's make it bigger and bolder and put it into brackets. There it is. So 317 rundown. And then we're going to mirror this on the other side as well. So it's going to be 862-179-486-793-000, 317-624-931-248. Okay. And literally, it's really all the same numbers if you notice that. All right. So let's make it the same size. There we go. So let's make this yellow so that way he's separated. Okay, so the way I like to play this, I don't know if you ever tried this before, but this is a cool analogy too. So anytime a number comes up, so let's go to that same number again, 735. All right, so I know this is not a good example for the 735 and anything, but let's try it out. So 780 or 280. Okay, so this 5 came up here, right? So what I'll do is I'll find the 5s. I'll find all the 5s, right? So I'm gonna clear this off real quick and just make it one color. So I'm gonna make it gray. So that way, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find all the 5s, right? In each area there's a 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. Okay, so make it yellow so you can see it. So around each 5 should be the next number, right? So 880. Somewhere around attached to these 5 is going to be the 880, right? So here's an 8, here's an 8, and here's a 0. It somehow always works to attach the 5s because that's where you're seeking at, right? So that's what you're looking at because this last number itself is the 5s. So the 5 itself. So if you look at here, 80 is attached to the 5. 8 is below down here. 8 is attached to here, but that's the only 8 here. This one, there's a 0 attached to here, which is attached to another 0 here. That's the only 0 here. So, but this one is probably the best one would be here, 880, and that would have been your number that hit attached to the 5 here. And if you think about it again, the 20 is right here, right? Because it follows the date itself. So if I put blue here, this is the date because the 20s are always in this column. It's not going to be here, it's always going to be here, right? So the way you got to see it is these are single digits. So if it's like, let's say the 7th or the 8th, that all the way up to the 9th will be in this box. The teens is coming to here. So if it's like 16, 17, 18, whatever, it's going to come to here. And then the 20s to the 30s is always going to be in here. These are dates I'm talking about. So if it's the 23rd, you gotta look at the 23rd here. Okay. So, but that's the way you gotta understand it is these are dates. These are all dates here. Right. So hopefully that makes sense. But I'll go ahead and change it back into gray. So let's try another one. So let's say 349, right? So let's put 349, 349, 894, 894, right? So 349 is 894 mirror. All right, so now this we're going to be looking for the ninth. So this is going to be the ninth is 179. So we're going to find all the 179. Let's say we look in here and see if we can find a 179, 179. So this is the main one right here. See, they're all attached into one. So we'll bring that, highlight that yellow. So 349 came up on the 21st, right? So now we're looking for the next day's number, which is 739. 739 should be attached to this 197 exactly, or it should be attached to around that 179 somehow. Okay, so let's look at it. There it is. So 973 right there. Boom. So it's attached to the number itself based off of the 179 because that's the date that you're looking. That's not the date, but it's just the last number that came up. Is it 349? 349 is 173, 973. But if you look back at 349 itself, here, 179 is no near there, except for 19 here, but that 793 is not attached to it. So 7, or the 379, there's a 379 going across this way as well, right? So we'll highlight that, and and that's the 9 that's attached to the 3 itself, a 349, right? So it just came off of the 349 itself this way, but this is also going this way, right? It's a 379. But the 197 is where the number a lot of times will appear. And the cool thing about it is most people just play this chart, the 317 by itself. A lot of times it can't really solve much, right? It can't really help. I mean, sometimes it may help, it may not. But like right here, 179 is this way too, right? So 179, and look, 973 is attached here. See, 973 against 179. So wherever you're looking at is based off of the 317. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear this off. Let's try another one. So let's try. All right, let's go back down to. Let's try 682. Right, so 682, 682, 137, 137. All right. So 682 is here. So now you gotta go over here, and guess what? 68862 is already the main number, right? So let me flip this around. So let me put 862 here. So let's put this down and put 137, 682, 682. So 682 is the main number itself already, right? So the winning number here, 682 back on Valentine's Day, is 682. So the next very day, the next number was 313. Is 313 attached to 682? There's a 31 attached to the 682 here, but I don't see the third 3. The only other 3 is here. But the 313 is going this way. So if it went up this way, it's still attached to the 313 this way. Is there a 682 attached to here? Is there a 6? Yeah, look, it blocked it in. 682 is blocking in the 311. or the 31382 and a 6. So it blocked it in. There's a 682 right here as well. So if I highlight that, is there a 313 attached to that? 1, 1. There's a 1, 1. There's a 1 here. There's only 1, 3 here. But there's no other 3s here. So, but that one is not. But it's not the main one, but this one is the main ones. So somehow I painted I blocked it in here to get that number for you, right? So, but that's literally how this one played out. So let's go back in again, and all right, let's try 307, right? So 307, 307, 852, 852. So 307 is probably the 317. See, 317. So let's find 317 somewhere in this thing. So let's bring this, let's move this 317 down to here. So let's do 852, 307, 307. So now your 307 is here, but your 317 is right here, right? Your 317 is there attached to the 307. So now so the next number that came up after 307 is 491. Is 491 attached to the 307? It is. So there's a 419 this way attached to the 317. Is there any other ways that is attached to it? 41, 41, 41. There's a 9 right here as well, but there's no other 4 ones. So that's the one that's attached to there, right? But it's attached to the 317. So if you find another 317 here, so there's a 317 here as well. So 317 is here. And okay, so 317, the 173 is right there. And with that one, is there a 914 attached to that at all? So 9, there's a 4-1, but there's no 9. I don't see a 9. Unless if you'd switch this 4-4 into a 9 yourself as like a mirror number. But that one doesn't really, I mean, I don't like to flip mirrors. Sometimes it just gets confusing or complicated, so, but I always try to play the right number directly. All right, so, but that's how this one played out. So let's try next one. So let's try 446. Let's do a double number, the front pair double. 446, 991, 991. Okay. So now the 6 is here. So we got to find what the number is. It's 486. Okay. So let's see if we can find a 486 right here. It's going straight. Doesn't have to be exact, but it's the same combination. 486. Now around that 486 here, this 486, what's the next day's number? Right here. 446. So it went to 736. Is there a 736 attached to the 68? The 486 right here. 637. Even the 673 here. It's attached to the 684. 673. Right? There's a 6-3, but there's no 7 here. There's a 7-6-3 up this way too. 7-6-3 went up this way because there's a 6 up here and there's a 4 right here, right? So let's magnet to that as well. All right. And then let's see. Yeah, so that's the way that this one played out. Um, Let me just try another one. Let's try. All right, let's pull the my sheet here. So I'm just looking at Arizona. Let's try a different state. Okay. Right now we're in Arizona. Let's go to, let's see who has a pick three lottery. Let's go to, I don't know, Texas. Texas should have a pick three as well. There it is. So pick three. All right. So looks like Texas has one, two, three, four draws every day. That's a lot of numbers. So let's do a pick three calendar and see, four draws. For me, when I see numbers like this, I play straight, morning to morning to morning to morning, right? Morning, 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 day, 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 evening, 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 night, 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 right? So I play it day straight. Some people like to play the day, the morning number to the midday, then the evening, the night. I mean, whatever you like to do, that's up to you, right? I can't tell you how to play, but well, whatever works for you, it should work good. Okay. So let's try something here. So let's try, I don't know, let's do the ninth. Yeah, let's do the ninth. 413. This is evening number, right? 413. Let's see if we can just find the number of that 858 off this 413. Okay, so 413. So let's put 413 968. 968. Right? So that's the rundown of 317. So now we're going to go back on this chart here and we're going to look for the 793. Is there a 793 attached anywhere in this thing? So let's see, 73 right here, 793. So let's highlight that yellow. Okay, 793. There's a 73 here, but there's no 9. 73. There's a 93 against the 413 number itself. But this, yeah, so this is what I'm looking at right now. This number here is attached, right? What we're looking at right now is the main number, which is the main number here, right? So that's where it shows here. So the next day is that evening number went to the next day went to 858. I'm going to test out this 192 as well to see if we can find it and then the same thing. So 192 and 858. Let's put it down here. 192, 858. So this 858 is the main number that we're looking for. So let's see, the 317 or the 397 is the 3. So the 3 is the 973, right? 973. So 3 is here. So let's see if there do you see an 858 attached to this? There's an 85 right here. Look, just wraps it around. 858 attached to the 397. It's even down here, 858 this way. And if you look at the 73739, it boxes it in. It boxes it all in. 739. It just boxes the whole thing inside of it. So let's clear that back off real quick. And the let's try the 192. Is there a 192 attached to the 317, the 397? There's a 9 here. There's a 2 below. There's a 1 up in front of the 3. But it's not all attached to 1. See, this is what I mean. is that if you play the same number that played that afternoon to the night, a lot of times won't show up. So that's the reason why when I play a number, I always try to keep it in the same area where it's playing at, right? So this one is the 858 is the main number. It showed up here. And this date on this is the 10th. So if you look at the date, the 10th is the 0. The 10th is down here. The 10th by itself is down here. So this the 10th, is there an 858 attached to the 10th? It is. So 858. So if the 10th number is down here, that's the date, right? So 8885 went down this way too. It's attached to the 10th. And the 11th is right here. The 858 is attached that way too. So a lot of times it runs to the date, 10 to the 11. So let's say if we use the same chart, and let's say we went to go back and look for the ninth, right? So the ninth was the 413, right? So that's the main number is the ninth. So the ninth would have been right here. So the ninth is right here. And guess what? The ninth is here. The 413 is right here. Wrapped around the date, the number that came up as 413 is the main number. And if you go back to the eighth, let's go back to the eighth, which is 025. So if you look for the eighth should be, let's see, eighth is down here. So this is the main number, is the eight. Is there 425 attached, 025 attached to that eight? There's a five and there's a two. It does right here, look. 025 is the eighth. This could be the eighth right here too. And if you look at the date here, eighth, 825 is right there. So sometimes you can even just use one chart itself without trying to mess with numbers. You can even use a 317 chart by itself. Watch, let me show you. 317, 862, 862. So this is the 317 chart, the full chart, right? So let's say the date comes up as, let's use Texas again. Let's try the 659 on the 14th. So now we're going to look for the 14th of the 659. So all we're going to do is look for the 14th. Right, here's the 14th, right? Now, is there a 659 attached to this 14? There's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 5. I don't see it. Yeah, right here, look. 659. Right below it. 659. The 14th. And then the 15th. The next day went to 558. Right? So the 15th is 558. And this is the 15th date. This is the 15th date. This will be considered a 15th because the 1 is up here, right? That right between it went through as the winning number for the 558 for the date of the 15th. See? So it's just based on the dates itself. Most people say don't play the dates, play the numbers. Some people like to use hit sum, whatever sum that they have. I don't mess with the sums at all. I don't like to add them and try to guess. It's just like just use it as how is the chart is. So if you look at 483, I can even use this 3 itself, another 3937. So it was a 483. The 307 is probably attached to this 793, right? So you look, 793 is what came up, or what the date is, right? 793. That's the chart for the 317. That was the number that came up on the 25th, right? So now the next day's number, or actually the 793 is the one I'm looking at is 483 right here. 483, right? 793. So the next day's number came up as 307. Is 307 attached to the 973? Absolutely. Look, straight down. Zero right there too. 317, 307, 307. It just really just gathers it all directly into that, the 793. Even if you play, let's say we do the 478, right? That's a 478 is would be the 8. So we go to 248, right? 248 and 748 was the 17th. So is the 515 attached to that? All the 5 is around that 248. 44551. 551. So it's attached to it. So when you're playing, maybe choose based off of these numbers that's wrapped around it. And the best way I probably would do it is you're using this as a 248, and the 248 is the main number here, and we're looking at the 748, and you're looking at the 18th, right? So this 18th is here. So the 8, the 1 is kept, but the 5 is down here. Okay. So but let's say if we go back to Texas, we can do it again. So let's try 231, 231, right? So then we just go to the 1, which is 93931, right? So 931. So 931 is right here. So Texas number came up as 231. The next day came up as 709. Is there a 709 attached to the 931? There's a 7 over here. There's a 0 and a 9. 709. The 709 is away from there, but it's still attached to the 1, right? But this 913 is here. But guess what? This 93 is still attached, right? 93. This 93 is the 793 here, right? 793 is here. The 931 is here. But this 93 is what the magnet is. And it played right between it. 790, 907, 907. And guess what? That's 973, 931. So it zooms in. It kind of pretty much gather everything else into one. So if I was in play tonight for 618, and 618 would be the 248, right? So 248 is right here. So 248. And the best way to play this is based off of the numbers. Go to the next number. 8 to the 9, 9 to the 0, 0 to the 1, 1 to the 2, 2 to the 3, 3 to the 4, 4 to the 5. That's how these numbers play. Just watch. Let me show you. So if a number plays, let's try 032. So we go to the 2862, right? So 862 is here, and the 862 is the same number. Well, 032, if I would have chose 032, I would have played here, and I would just play that straight. It would have been the number 2. All right, that's a direct number straight going straight. But that's not a really good example. But let's say if I put 682, and 682 is right here, that's the main number already, then there's a 313, right? So I will go to the 3. But the 3 down here, there's no 313 attached to it at all. Nothing. So the 313 is on this side. 3-1. But there's no other 3s. There's a 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. So there's really no way that it connects it. So, but then again, this is a double number. Sometimes it doesn't really work well with these charts. But let's say if it was a 349, the 349 on the right side here, then I go to 179, right? So 179, 349 to 179, but I want to go to the 0 here. So this is my goal. I want to go to the 9 to the 0. So 739 going down to the 0. Yeah, right there. 739 is going straight and it's attached to that 0. It's always going to be the next number that goes down, 9 to the 10. So this 10 is going to go to the 0, which is going to go to the 1, right? So if you look at, let's clear this back off. So let's say we do 0 to the 1, right? So let's find a number that has a 0 to the 1. So 770. So right here, 770, which is going to be all zeros, right? So now 770, want to go to the 1 here, right? So we highlight the 1s. So we highlight the 1 here. So the goal is to get to the 1. So 0 to the 1. Is 618 attached to that 1? 618 is on this side. Still attached to the 1. 6188. See, 681. So if you would have played it here, instead of going this way, still attached to the 0 to the 1. Right? So, but it literally, I mean, that's so it's really weird how the whole thing works. It's just like a step, 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 one step at a time, right? So, but I almost took an hour here, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out. But that's just the way some numbers play. So if you guys are looking to boost up what you guys are trying to do, maybe just study that. But let's say if it's my number tonight, I'm gonna play. I'll probably choose. So the 8 goes to the 9 here, right? So the 618 is right here, right? So what I'll probably play is I'll probably play the 9, and then I'll look at the 248 here, and I'll see if there's a 248 attached around this 9. See if 48 is here, all right? So I'll block that off, and there's a 2 here, 248. So I'll probably block this off as well. So my numbers I'll probably play to the 9 will probably be 569. 569, 569, or 529. Or I probably can just play the 852 down straight. 852 to the 9. Another number would be probably 5752. Right. So if you go back to Arizona tomorrow, the first March 1st, if you see this video here, see if any of these numbers came up. Just double check and see if I was right, or you look at this picture here that I'm looking at and see how the number hit on the 9. Because like I was saying earlier, in Arizona, the 9 is cold. It's overdue 49 days, right? The 5 itself is also cold, overdue 39 days. And then what else is here? What else is overdue? 4, 6, and 2. 8, 5, 2, 5. Maybe it'll be a 5, 6, 9. Will probably be a good number to play. 5, 6, 2. because the 5 is overdue, 9 is overdue, even the 6 and the 4 is overdue. So the 6 is right here in the middle. So I'll probably play it this way. I'll probably play 9, 5, 6 right here. 5, 6, 9, 9, 5, 6. If I was playing this, I'll probably put like 10 bucks on this 5, 9, 5, 6. You know what I mean? So that way, play straight. I probably won't even play a combination on it. I can probably even just use that, or I can choose a hot number off of this, which is a 0, 6, and 8. But the 6 has been coming up a lot in the third column for the 6. But the last time it came up was on the 19th, 19 days ago. The 2, 2 is right here as well, which will be 952. See, 952 is going straight down. So these are probably the two numbers I would play if I was gonna get a ticket. But it's already too late to buy a ticket right now. Anyways, hope you guys learned something today from me. I'm always trying to educate people on how to play pick threes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it seems easy, but when you start playing, you start looking at a lot of things. You know what I mean? You start looking at it, next thing you know, you're like coming up with like 20 different numbers. And it does happen. But just, yeah, just do your research. Just do what I'm doing here. Like if you have a 317 chart, if you don't have the spreadsheet, I mean, it is for sale, like I'm saying. You can pick it up on Etsy. I'll put it in the channel below. So that way you have a copy of it. You can get a copy of it for yourself, and then from there, just use it how you want to use it. I mean, like what I'm doing right here. I mean, just literally, I like to put it as a checkerboard, so that way all the numbers are be able to see. I mean, so let's see. I put it back as white. What was the color before? I like the dark though. Did you like the dark? How to, it's a lot easier to see when you put like yellow on it. Anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just put it in the comments. If you guys like to get the copy of the sheet, yeah, this one is up for sale. It's on Etsy, so just check it out if you want to get a copy of it. If you already have it, yeah, thank you for purchasing it. I mean, just really help with the channel as well. Promote the channel, share it, like it, share with other people that you know that may play Pick 3 as well. So I just always try to be out there and at least help people in a way, just to help them teach them how to play. And I know it's a lot of numbers. I mean, it's not a lot of numbers, only 1,000 numbers, you know. I mean, even 1,000 numbers, you have many different combinations, right? So if it's a 1, 2, 3 number, you already have 6 different combinations, right? So, anyways, have yourself a good night. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.